Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Cassidy Wood, your host tonight, joined by the wonderful Suzie Cool. We have so much sports to talk about tonight here in Pittsburgh. Suze, I want to start it with the Pens. A little tough right now. They are on a 4-game skid, but had some big news come out today, deciding to put Tristan Jarry back down to the AHL on Wilkes-Barre's roster. He did play tonight, helped secure that win. And the team came out and said that their expectations while he's down there is to play in every game and come back to Pittsburgh confident and ready to go. So hopefully this move will get Jarry back and, get the Pens back into the right swing of things.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you look at this type of loan, Jarry had to agree to this contract, which I worked in the American Hockey League for 4 years, and I never saw this happen with an NHL goaltender. So you know that Jarry, if he is making the decision that he has to go down to the American Hockey League to play at the level that he can in the National Hockey League, then you know that there's probably a mental aspect of his game right now that is really hurting. His confidence might be hurting. This reminds me of the skid that the Pens were going through. I think it was in about March last year, before Nedeljkovic went on that run, that tear towards the end of the season that almost had them in the postseason last year. So Jarry just really struggling, which is unfortunate because he has put up the numbers before for the Penguins.
Yeah, and like we said, a 4-game skid now. I believe they're 3-2, sixth in the division. So as head coach Mike Sullivan said last night, this is not the start that he expected. It's not the start Pens fans wanted to see. So hopefully that'll help turn it around. I do think Bloom is doing a pretty decent job. Like I said, they are playing the Canucks right now. So we'll see how that comes about. But, hopefully this will, get his confidence back and Jarry will be able to come back and they'll be able to go on a run. The saving grace is it is still so early in the season right now.
Yeah, but whenever you look at it, they are 9 games into the season, and then you look at who they're playing tonight, the Canucks, they only have 6 games under their belt. So whenever you look at it, an NHL season is 82 games? So they are almost an eighth of the way through their season already, or a tenth of the way through their season already. I can't do math clearly. I don't know which one it is. However, other than the fact that I can't do math, that still is a decent amount and a good sample size to see where Tristan Jarry is starting this season off at. And again, I think that the wheels are still kind of falling off a little bit, and it's sad that Nedeljkovic also isn't holding up his end of the bargain like he was at the end of last season. So again, I hope Jarry just goes down to the American Hockey League. He gets the games, he gets the reps that are needed so that he can come back up and be that NHL goaltender that everybody knows he can be here for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Most definitely. Yeah, we'll see what happens. He will be down there for up to 14 days because it is a non-injury. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, today is Saturday, so college football Saturday. Penn State playing Wisconsin right now. I just checked, they are up big, so that's good for Nittany Lions fans. It was a little scary there for a second at halftime. But I do want to talk about the team that already had their game under their belt on Thursday night, and that's the Pitt Panthers. They are 7-0 now for the first time since 1982. And probably the best defensive performance I've ever seen in my life. At one point during this game, they had more points on the board than they had offensive plays. So it just goes to show you what this linebacker group especially, they're calling themselves the self-proclaimed Sharks. We saw kids in the student section dressed up as Sharks. It's a whole movement now, but 5 interceptions, 3 pick sixes, just so incredible. And going into this week, there were 10 teams left in college football that were undefeated. 2 of those in the nation. 2 of those teams are right here in Pennsylvania.
I think whenever you think of Pitt football, and the storyline all season has been, what is this offense going to do under new offensive coordinator Cade Bell? And they've done really well. So the focus has been, this offense is really good. They're speedy. They're running different routes this year. They just look different, especially with Eli Holstein holding it down at the quarterback position. So the defense has kind of been in the background, in the shadows. So this last Thursday against Syracuse really showing out and showing just how talented and well-rounded this Pitt football team is this season.
Yeah, and especially up against a Syracuse quarterback, that has NFL aspirations. A lot of people are saying that was going to go high in the draft before, seeing that performance. And so they were just saying that they were very underestimated and they wanted to go out and make a statement. And boy, did they do that. It was just so exciting out there in Acrisure to see that defensive performance show out. And then, like I said, Penn State could very well stay undefeated tonight. So both of, our college football teams here in Pennsylvania staying undefeated. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And especially at a time where the college football playoffs just went through this expansion. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if we can see Penn State and Pitt in these college football playoffs, I think that's going to be so amazing. But we are going to head to break real quick. Give us a call at 412-575-2600, and we'll talk some sports. But stick around. We have more after this. We've been talking all year about this offensive line and just how it's been kind of a rotating cast just because of all of these injuries. So to see the offensive line be moved around as much as they have and shuffled around and still be able to show out the way they have has been pretty incredible. I mean, I said to you, I was a little concerned because the Jets defensive line is #1 in the league. I didn't know if they'd be able to pass block for Russ for that long, but to see them put on that performance was nice to see.
Cass, I was going to call us out. I mean, on every blade of grass every single week, I feel like we've kind of been ragging on this O-line for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but then you see McCormick putting up those numbers, and you even made the comment before this show, those numbers, a lot of those stats were probably made in this past Sunday's game against the Jets for Russell Wilson. However, whenever we were talking about this game, whenever we found out that Russell Wilson was starting, we were concerned because what is this O-line going to do? They're young. They've been injured all season. There have been a lot of moving puzzle pieces. But they showed out and they did exactly what Russell Wilson needed them to do. They protected him, which is something that he needed, especially coming back from an injury. So really impressive numbers there from McCormick. And again, I think that we need to apologize to the O-line because clearly we were wrong, and maybe moving puzzle pieces is just what they need to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of adversity, but they've tackled that. Speaking of tackles, so Dante Jackson left the game on Sunday with an apparent shoulder injury. We were concerned about it, but very good news came out today. He has no injury restrictions, and Tomlin says he's healthy, he's ready to go, which means the entire Steelers secondary is going to be at full health come Monday night when the Steelers welcome the Giants. I still can't believe this is going to be their third primetime game in 4 weeks, but here we are. And yeah, it's just going to be really exciting, I think, to see this defense up against this Giants offense, who, let's face it, is not the best. I think they're 28th right now in the league in total offense.
Held to 3 points last week against the Eagles, and then they can't defend the run at all. They allowed 269 rushing yards against the Eagles last game. So I think all around we might be seeing a blowout at Acrisure on Monday night. However, Mike Tomlin always goes in with the mindset of being an underdog is actually a good thing. So if the Giants are being looked at as the underdog and feeling that they're underestimated, then they might be able to surprise everybody. I don't think that that is going to be the case because of the numbers game that the Steelers do have in their favor. However, you don't want to overestimate too much.
Yeah, I think too. I mean, Dante made a good point at practice yesterday. He said, it's the NFL. Those guys get paid to play football too. The margin of victory in the NFL is so small. Really anything can happen. That's why our jobs are so hard, Suzie. Let's face it, because they're so unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. We'll see what happens out there on Monday night. I do think having Dante back and, at full health is going to be huge. Also, Alex Highsmith, having him back. His first game back in weeks was on Sunday against the Jets, and I know TJ Watt enjoyed having him out there with Nick Herbig sidelined, and so to see Alex Highsmith out there on Sunday, he'll be out there again on Monday, will be very helpful. So I think this defense, I don't want to overestimate too much, but we were talking about them being a #1 ranked defense at the start of this season. I think I said on every blade of grass, I think they might have fallen off a little bit the past couple weeks, but I do think they're back in the groove of things. And you just look at the players they have on that side of the ball, and it's just you don't know how any offense is going to score on it. So, like you said, I really do expect kind of a blowout on Monday night, but we'll have to wait and see. But going off of that, though, the flip side of things, I mentioned the Giants' offense. Daniel Jones, even though they do struggle, he does have that ability to kind of step back and launch it. And so, again, just not underestimating this offense is very important. Cam Hayward said it too. I mean, he almost compared him to Josh Allen, kind of, because he said he's able to play that way. So to have that front back, to have that defense at full health is going to be really important. And then on the Steelers' offensive side, you and I had some fun with this. I said, I mean, I really see Najee getting into the end zone at least 2 times on Monday night. I think, like you said, the Giants are not good against the run, and I just see them attacking the run game or using Najee, using Jalen a lot. And, you know, I would not be shocked to see Najee in the end zone twice on Monday.
Yeah, I picked Jalen Warren, and I do just want to say, okay, last night he was at the Steelers High School Showcase, game of the week. We were at Moon Township, Moon Tigers taking on the South Fayette Lions, and I said to Jalen, I was like, I hate doing this to you and putting you on the spot, but like, I've been right the last 3 weeks, so I need you to score a touchdown on Sunday or on Monday. He didn't guarantee anything, he didn't promise anything, but I think it's very likely after I said that. Ooh. Obviously, I make the calls over here. However, whenever you look at the Steelers and you look at all the injuries, this is something we talk about every single week on every blade of grass, is the amount of injuries that this team has seen all season long. Now, Cassidy, I have a question for you. Are the Steelers at the point where they're almost back to full capacity whenever it comes to people coming back from injuries? Is this the right time, right before the bye week? You get Russell Wilson back, you get Alex Highsmith back, you get all of these critical players back, these puzzle pieces to your lineup going into a game. Are they almost back at full capacity and to the point where, whoa, this is going to be the right point of the season to hit a stride going into that bye week, because now everybody's pretty much healthy and we have a week off to rest before we get into those divisional games that are really going to matter in the later part of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that. It's so crucial to be at your full health at this point, and they get that week going into divisional play. You look at the rest of the division right now, the Bengals had a very slow start to the season. The Bengals are basically going to have to win out in order, you know, to do anything in the postseason. The Ravens are probably the only real threat. Browns, we all know the issues they've had at quarterback and stuff. I will be interested to watch Jameis ball out there for the Browns tomorrow. But, I mean, the Ravens are really the only real threat. And if the Steelers' offense gets going and if the defense plays the way it's been playing and everyone stays healthy, I mean, yeah, I could see them really going on a run in the second half of the season during divisional play. And man, would Steelers fans be happy about that, because the narrative for so long is, you know, Coach Tomlin has never had a losing season. And people are saying that, you know, at 500, just a little bit over 500 is not good enough anymore. You know, we want to see playoff wins. We haven't in over a decade. And I think fans are getting anxious. They want to see that. So I think this is the perfect group of guys to be able to make a run if they, like you said, can stay healthy. But that's a big if, because as we know, football is a scary game and anything can happen. So it'll be very interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out, most definitely. But I do think if you ask the guys in that locker room, they'd be very excited to have a bye week next week, because I do think too, they traveled quite a bit in this first half of the season. And then they've had primetime games whenever they're home. So I think to be able to get a week off just mentally and physically is going to be huge for this team. And then to be able to kind of come back and, you know, get reset and then come back for these really important games here down the stretch is going to be huge. But we are going to head to break, but we have lots more to talk about. Give us a call, 412-575-2600, and we'll see you right after this. I do wonder. Now, I was pretty shocked on Sunday that Justin Fields did not get into the game. We heard all week that there might be a package for him. There might be some designed runs for him. I thought early in the game, maybe those first 2 field goals would have been touchdowns if Justin went in on 3rd down where Russ threw it away. I mean, he was standing on the 11 and then he was standing on the 3, and those were field goals. And I just thought if Justin were in there, but I mean, hey, Tomlin stuck with Russ and then he scored 31 unanswered. So that's why Tomlin is the head coach and I'm over here talking about him.
I was going to say, but Cash, you're going to fire the people up back at home, okay?
But I do have a question. Do you think that Justin will get in at all this Monday night against the Giants? I mean,
that's hard. If it's a blowout, I mean, why not? Because you're headed into the bye week, get both Russ and Justin some time. However, and this is a big if, or however you want to phrase it, if you want Russell Wilson to get another full game and maybe an easier game before that bye week, then maybe you just leave him in so you really see what he can do and what he can handle headed into that heavy divisional play.
Yeah, we'll really see if Russ can cook on Monday, that's for sure, because, I mean, against this defense, you know, we would see it the most. I do want to switch gears, talk a little World Series. We have a little time for it.
Let's do
it. What a crazy game last night. I really couldn't believe it. In the 10th inning, a walk-off grand slam for the Dodgers to win it. Just incredible. And then tonight, it's looking like the Dodgers will take game 2. Right now in the 9th, they're up 4-1. Just what a great series, though. Like, to have the World Series be the Dodgers and the Yankees, no matter what, I mean, that's just an incredible World Series.
2 of the most historical teams in all of Major League Baseball going at it for the World Series. I don't think that you could have scripted it any better unless it was the New York matchup with the New York Yankees and the New York Mets.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that this Dodgers lead is going to last long. Whenever they get to New York, I think that the tides may change a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be an exciting one for sure. And also the Penn State game just went final, so they're also 7-0. Both teams still undefeated. Just so incredible. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we'll catch you next week. Same spot, same time.